What if the biggest controversy surrounding the WNBA right now isn't actually about one foul? Because what happened between DiJonai Carrington and Sophie Cunningham started as a hard play on the basketball court, but within minutes, it had turned into a much bigger fight over race, rivalries, Caitlin Clark, and the way the league's most controversial moments are judged. And the wildest part? The internet may have completely misunderstood one of the most important posts in the entire story. It started late in the first quarter. Sophie Cunningham had the ball with open space in front of her, and Indiana appeared to have an easy scoring opportunity developing in transition. Cunningham was moving toward the basket when DiJonai Carrington came from behind and made heavy contact with her. Cunningham went down. The play continued, and the initial call wasn't nearly as severe as the reaction that followed. But then the officials went to replay, and everything changed. After reviewing the contact, the officials upgraded the foul to a flagrant 2, which meant Carrington was immediately ejected. That decision instantly became the story of the game, because Cunningham wasn't simply knocked off balance. The contact was high, the play happened quickly, and there was no shortage of debate over exactly what Carrington was trying to do. Was it an overly aggressive attempt to stop a fast break? Was it simply a physical play that went too far? Or did Carrington cross a line? The officials clearly believed the answer was the third one. And once she was sent to the locker room, the basketball game suddenly became secondary. Because Cunningham wasn't backing down, she spoke about the incident afterward and made it clear she believed the contact was unnecessary. She also pointed out something that made the situation even more interesting. Cunningham had previously been ejected herself after a hard foul, and instead of arguing that she had been treated unfairly, she said she deserved the punishment. That became a major part of her argument. Her position was basically simple. If you cross the line, accept the consequences. But Carrington wasn't finished. And that's when this story took a completely different direction. After the ejection, Carrington posted the words, "white privilege," on social media. Almost immediately, fans connected those words to what had just happened on the court. And once that happened, the conversation exploded. Suddenly, this wasn't just about whether a flagrant 2 was the right call. People were debating whether race had influenced the way Cunningham was treated. Others argued that Carrington's post was being interpreted too literally and too quickly. And the important thing here is that those two sides weren't even necessarily arguing about the same thing. One group saw Carrington's post as a direct accusation against Cunningham. Another group saw it as commentary about a much broader issue surrounding race. But the story didn't end when the final buzzer sounded. If anything, that's when the real battle began. Because once the cameras stopped showing the players and everyone went home, social media turned the Carrington-Cunningham incident into something much bigger than one basketball play. And the first question was obvious. Why did this particular foul create such a massive reaction? The answer starts with Caitlin Clark. Whether people love her, dislike her, or simply want to watch her play, there's no denying that Clark has changed the amount of attention surrounding the WNBA. Every game involving Indiana carries extra pressure. Every physical play involving Clark gets replayed. And every controversial decision involving her becomes a debate almost instantly. That's exactly why the relationship between Clark and Carrington has become one of the most closely watched matchups in the league. But here's where things get complicated. Fans don't always agree on what they're seeing. One side sees Carrington as an aggressive defender doing everything possible to make life difficult for one of the league's biggest stars. The other side sees a pattern of unnecessary contact that officials aren't always handling consistently. And once fans choose a side, every new incident becomes another piece of evidence. That's how rivalries become bigger than individual games. The Cunningham incident simply added another chapter. And then came the social media reaction. People who had never watched an entire WNBA game suddenly had strong opinions about Carrington, Cunningham, Clark, and the league itself. Some demanded punishment. Others defended Carrington's competitive style. Some blamed the officials for allowing too much physical contact in the first place. And then there were fans who argued that the entire discussion was being exaggerated because Clark was involved. That last argument is especially interesting because there is some truth behind the idea that Clark changes the temperature of every game. But that doesn't automatically mean every controversy involving her is manufactured. Sometimes a foul really is a foul. Sometimes a referee really does make a mistake, and sometimes a player simply makes a bad decision in the heat of competition. The difficult part is figuring out which one you're actually looking at. That's why the replay matters. It's also why context matters. And most importantly, it's why intent shouldn't be declared as fact when nobody can actually prove what was going through a player's mind. That's particularly important when the conversation turns toward Carrington's white privilege post. The internet